Because this is the first Handball Hall of Fame, we decided that those people who are early pioneers should be a part of our beginnings. So you're going to see a lot of people that are not here that are inducted into the Hall of Fame. But we are just very lucky. Every one of them had relatives, and most of them are here. And I'm sure that you're going to be just pleased to see what handball players can produce. So we're going to start back in 1921, and our first presenter, okay.
First two buttons on the left.
Okay. Our first presenter is, and it's very significant, is Dr. Gary Rohr, who will present Dr. Carl Haedge. Come aboard, Gary.
Well, I did spill the beans just a little bit earlier about some of the things about Carl, and fortunately the relatives here have filled me in on a couple other gaps that I've had. But Carl was the national champion of the first, well, actually not the first, again according to the way it started out. There's actually almost like a handball war in the United States, the East Coast versus the West Coast and the Midwest in between. And the West Coast already had a couple of championships in 1919 and 1920. And the East Coast and the Midwest thought that wasn't quite right. So in 1920, they had an invitational tournament at Detroit Athletic Club, and Carl Haedge, the first one, that one, Dr. Carl. And then they got together and organized the first AAU tournament across the country, and that also was held the following year in 1921 at the Detroit Athletic Club. And so Dr. Carl Haedge won that. And some of the commentary that I read was that he was a very fast individual. As I was reading about this, it sounded like I was reading about either Terry Muck or Billy Yambrick. And he was very quick, very ambidextrous. He was able to hit the ball equally as well with either hand. Although he was right-handed, it said that his left hand was just a mirror image of his right. And he was a very, very powerful individual. And he beat a fellow in the finals by the name of Bill Sackman. I got to show you this picture because it's really significant. I got news for you. 21, what is that, 72 years ago, they were playing with headbands. This Sackman has got a headband, but he's got a thing over the top of it, apparently to keep the headband from sliding down, or at least to keep the hair in place or something of that nature. And Dr. Carl is here without any socks on. Doesn't have any socks on. Now, I don't know, he's not wearing any gloves either. I don't know if he played without gloves. He played with gloves, didn't he? Never played with gloves, they're telling me. So this guy was hitting the ball. We can't even hit that thing wearing two pairs of gloves today, and he was playing without any gloves. And also, the other thing you need to notice is, I wish Jim Boyd were here. He's got a Jim Boyd shirt on. Yeah, he does. No sleeves in those shirts. So, just I thought it was kind of interesting. Here, all those years go by, and it's the same thing that we're doing today. And maybe you thought you were at first, but you're not. So anyway, let's see here. Just a couple of things about this. It was interesting, again, reading. Sackman won this first game 21-14, and he was commented on the size of the court before, because that's significant. Sackman was hitting a Z serve to the right. And that's why I was wondering if Carl was right-handed or left-handed, because obviously Sackman was playing his right hand, and he was scoring points left and right. And the first game was 21-14, and Dr. Carl took the dust. Well, in the second game, he figured it out, and he started getting the serve back. And as the game went on, he started Z-serving Sackman to the left. And Sackman's left, according to the articles, wasn't that good. And Dr. Carl won then 21-16. In the final game, he had him 20-3 when the final score was 21-12. So it was interesting how he masterminded the working out of that serve, and it said that he was quite a tactician on the court, that he would just kind of, he didn't look like he was really playing hard. I was thinking of Eddie Miller when I was reading this article. I didn't think he was really playing hard, but yet all the time he was running Sackman around and running him out of gas. You don't mind that, do you, Eddie? So anyway, he won that, and it was just, at the end, one of the comment that was made by Carl in the newspaper was that he had played, he made the comment that Sackman had a much harder draw. Some of you guys don't like your draws. Well, according to this, Sackman had the hardest draw. Dr. Carl recognized that. He said he had a real hard draw, and he had to beat the likes of a guy by the name of Gold from Los Angeles, another guy by the name of Raft from Los Angeles, and a third guy by the name of Laswell, also from Los Angeles. So it sounded like they did kind of stack this draw kind of east against the west. I did notice that. As a matter of fact, if you want to see the draw, I've got that up here too. They had a really nice little banquet book. Sheldon, we missed the boat. 1920, they had a banquet book. So anyway, Sackman, he said, was one of the finest sportsmen he'd ever played against. So that's quite a tribute to the fellow that he beat. The Haedges also told me, and I'm not aware of this, but Dr. Carl is quite an athlete at the University of Minnesota, playing football and hockey and I don't know what other sports, but two of his sons, his son and two daughters are here tonight, and grandson, and I thought my dad and my family was full of dentists, but this family has three dentists too. Dr. Carl's a dentist, and Dr. Carl II is dentist, and Dr. Carl III is dentist. And I'd like to present this trophy to Dr. Carl III in honor of Dr. Carl I.
Okay, thank you, Gary. At this time, we would like all the Haedges to stand up. I'd like to introduce them by name so everybody can see who they are. Evelyn Fry is his daughter. Helen Carpenter is his daughter. Mark Carpenter, her husband. Carl Haedge II. Carl Haedge III. And Jason Haedge, who is Carl III. We'd like each of you to have a T-shirt.
Anybody for an XL?
That's me.
Okay. Anybody else? We got some larges.
That's all right.
Oh, we got medium, we got large, we got medium, we got large. Yeah, thank you. Welcome. Here we go. What size do you people can you wear? Medium? Medium. I'll get you a extra large, medium.